I'm going to go over the top 5 performance upgrades for any Viper. And these aren't necessarily the reliability upgrades that you're going to hear. So specifically for the Gen 2, there is the power steering pulley that is known to go. It's made of plastic, and after a certain amount of heat cycles, it seems like that pulley can let go, and then everything on that belt is just lost. So not going to cover anything like that. I'm going to actually just go over pure performance upgrades. And the top 5, these are just the easy ones. I'm not going to throw in a supercharger in there because that's a lot of money, and it's outside a lot of people's financial availability. So number 1 is the typical K&N Drop-in air filter. And I know this is a very stereotypical one, but here are the OEM 1999 air filters out of this Viper. It's almost like they put like a tacky wax on this foam part, and then there's just a paper filament behind that. Hopefully the camera's picking up on that, but this has got to be one of the most restrictive air filters I've ever seen on an OEM car. So dropping in those K&N high flow air filters are an easy, I think they say like 10 horsepower increase, maybe even a little bit more than that. So that's the first thing out of any Viper you should be doing. It's like 120 bucks. It's cheap, it's easy. I wouldn't go with the full K&N setup because the way that this is set up, that NACA duct actually brings in a lot of cold air. So the stock air box does a great job of getting that airflow in, but getting those really restrictive air filters out is a big performance upgrade. So leave the stock air box, just get the K&N drop-in air filters. Second performance upgrade you need to do is get smooth tubes. I don't care if they're Roe Smooth Tubes or just like the silicone remakes of the GTSR Gen 2 Viper smooth tubes. And again, this is for all gens. I've seen that same rubber ribbed intake tube. So getting these smooth tubes help out a lot. You know, this is an 8-liter V10 sucking a lot of air. So any way to get it to breathe better, you're going to get a lot of performance gain out of it. So 1, air filter, 2, the smooth tube. So that's the intake side of things done. Super cheap, super easy. I think it's like probably about 270 bucks. Either way, it's less than $300. So intake is done. Next is the catalytic converters on these things. Are, especially the Gen 2s, the biggest cats I've ever seen on a personal vehicle, not commercial, but personal vehicle. They're massive. So either go with high flow cats or just cut them out altogether. And again, that goes for all generation Vipers. And a lot of people do it to keep the heat out of the cabin, but going like catless like I am, I got a 20 wheel horsepower increase in power. So that was 50 bucks in stainless steel tubing from Summit Racing. So cheap and easy. So just between that and the intake, you're getting a good 30 wheel horsepower, maybe more, 35 rear wheel horsepower. 4, so this is going to be the more expensive performance upgrade, but you need a Catback. And the reason I say that is because it sounds so much better. And people are going to argue it's Corsa, BBE, Borla, that Mopar, which I believe is just a rebranded Borla exhaust. And again, for any Viper, that's just going to make it sound so much better. Let it breathe a little bit better. So that is a need as well. So intake, exhaust, and cat delete, that's 4. The 5th one, and I know all the way from 1992 to 2010, so Gen 1 all the way to Gen 4, the actual lever to shift the gears is like that big. It's huge. So Gen 5 shift knobs actually are a substantial amount shorter, about 1.5 inches shorter, and you can pick one of those up for like 150 bucks. So that's a cheap upgrade. You know, and if you want to go a step farther, you can actually get one of those short shift mechanisms. I think IPSCO makes one for most Gen Vipers. So between the intake, the exhaust, and shortening your shift lever, that's going to be the best bang for your buck performance upgrades for any generation Viper. I've done all of those for this car. I don't need to do any forced induction or anything like that because this is like a classic car to me. Anything I pull off this car, I have actually in my closet. So recommended.